6 o'clock.
Yeah, I have 6.
Okay, and let's look at the secretary's report.
I move we accept the secretary's report.
I'll second it.
Okay, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And treasurer's report?
First of all, I did go and talk to Amy and figured out how to get the expenses to match hers. I just had to have the same, the appropriate
Categories.
things in the list. She doesn't think the amount left is ever going to match hers. It was difficult for me to understand why that is. I don't understand why that is, but it has to do with the fact, like for example, under speakers and programs, 300 of that $775 is grant money.
That's right.
275 of that is left, but that 275 isn't town money. So that and the Vox,
Oh, yeah,
Right.
the
that's,
Vox Brooks grant, it doesn't mess up the spent to date this year. She puts those grant monies in and adds them into spent to date. But when you're talking about the money that's left, it skews it up. And it feels to me like there should be a way for me to get it to match. You know, I got my mother's voice in my head.
yeah,
If you're a penny off, you're off
Right,
$1 million.
that's right.
But anyway, so I'm not gonna worry about that. You can see that the number isn't the same. That 46,000, oh, it's 42 should be under the other, that's the number she had. I did check with her about the encumbered funds, and if you look at, you do have this somewhere, but at home. If you look at the difference between June 2024 encumbered funds and July 2024 encumbered funds, you can see that she took the money out for what we wanted to take out. And then she put in what was left for 2024. And if you had this in front of you, you could see that she did that, but that's what I checked on. I think that's the only thing that was left over from last meeting.
Going to Chris.
To Chris, please.
CDs too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that came in the mail, Chris.
Oh, thank you.
From,
Oh, and I did take the money out. Apparently, I hadn't taken it out since September, so I did September, October, November, and December for that internet money.
Right.
So I'll have to go in and take,
and did you
and I
get
did
my-
get your message that it had
It
gone
went
up.
up $10. I don't know why, but,
Right, so
and
that
I
will
s-
be for January.
right, so it's $158.40 instead of $148.40.
Oh, so it went up.
158.40,
Yeah,
okay.
so we have to
And-
start,
I'm gonna try and do that once a month, you know. I should be more squared away than I was last fall,
yeah.
so.
So they're asking in those, what you want to do with the CDs.
This is? Thought I had that all in my head.
If we want to cash them out or turn them over.
Or if you, yeah, you don't do anything, it's the end of the month, I think,
It is the end of the month.
when they come due, and then you have 10 days, but,
Right, you have
I'll-
to find out what. the
I'll get in
percentage-
I'll get in touch with the lady. The deal with the M&T CDs is that it's all done like up in Burlington or someplace like that with this specific woman. Isn't her name
Diamond.
Diamond? And, so I'll just get in, Diamond Spence.
Yes.
And I will get in touch with her and tell her, you know, it would seem like we just want to roll them over.
Well, if we check what the percentage rate is.
Dylan would be
Well, I'll
able to
find out
tell
what
us
the
that.
rates, I'll find out what the rates are.
Because sometimes it varies on if it's a 6-month, 12-month, 2-year.
Right, exactly. But the thing is, that M&T Bank is the only one that does the municipal CDs.
Right.
So we're stuck with them. And the last couple times when I've checked on CDs, Community Bank was a little higher than M&T, but we can't do that, so. So I will check with her.
Okay. So we'll go for the best bang for our buck, which is,
The highest rate.
Yeah. What it's been that you got a better deal on a 6-month than a 1 year.
right,
But what I don't know is if that's because they're expecting the rates to go down, maybe we're better off to lock in the 1 year, even if it's a little lower, it may be higher than it's going to be 6 months from now. So those are the things you always have to think about, and I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, any questions?
I move we accept the treasurer's report.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? And librarians report.
Okay, we were open 20 days in January. I had 8 hours vacation in those 20 days. Our circulation was 690, which is low, but I think Dollar General being closed is having an effect on our circulation, but I can't say that for sure because our Hoopla's down and our digital overdrive is down. See, it's 86 for Hoopla and 98 for the overdrive, and that's been up over, well over 200, 250 the last few months. So maybe everyone just froze
Yeah,
and was too cold to do either thing. So 690 was our circulation for the month. Interlibrary loans for our patrons, we didn't get any books for book club this time. So only 2 people requested things from us. We sent out 36 interlibrary loans. We did the overdue notices. Maybe that's why our circulation is down, because we're missing 51 books. Maybe people just aren't ready to bring them back yet. So we sent out 20 letters. We have 3 take-and plays gone, 51 books gone, and 5 DVDs that are gone. And we sent out 3 bills. Bills.
What's the penalty for overdue books now?
The penalty? There isn't one.
Yeah, we'll send a bill if it's,
We send a bill for the
For
books.
the book?
After 3. The first time we just send a notice, then we send a second notice, then we send a bill. So
Do people pay
And
that
is
bill?
the take,
sometimes they definitely bring them back when they get the bill.
Okay.
is the take and play those new books?
The take and plays are those expensive new
no.
books. Yes, that's what those are. So hopefully they'll come back. I have to say, usually the overdues, they come back. It takes a while. Usually, usually we get them back. Some people it does take some time, and it tends to be the same people that have trouble getting them back on time. But things get busy, and so we try not to be too bad about it. But this is a lot. 51 is a lot. It's the most we've had in quite a while. New acquisitions, I bought 55 books during the month, and the breakdown is there. Most of them were adult fiction books, 6 DVDs, 2 audiobooks, 9 adult nonfiction, and 4 juvenile books. You'll see that I don't buy juvenile books consistently like every month, because in the springtime a big list comes out from the state of the and that's when I buy the books, because I try to buy the books on the list, because that's the list that the schools use
Okay.
for the kids. We weeded out 43 books. We've weeded a lot more than that, but I don't put it in this report until we're to the point where it's completely out of the system. So even though they're off the shelves, if they're not out of the system yet, they don't go in weeded books, but there are 43 this time. We only had 3 people get library cards this month, so people really weren't moving around. No genealogy searches this month. And petty cash is there. That didn't even change much this month. We took 25 cents in donations.
Jeez.
Usually it's a lot more than that. So really it just hasn't been busy. Genealogy Club met on January 3rd. 2 people attended. Art Club used the Hyde Room on January 6th. 10 people attended. I want to go over how people use the meeting room, because I think there was there's a little bit of confusion in town. The policy that we have is the meeting room can be used if it's not being used for library purposes, like if they're not down here having a book sale, or if the friends aren't down here having a meeting or working on Angels. People can use the room as long as the library's open. If the library's closed and someone wants to use the room, they have to, someone with a key has to be there. In other words, a trustee or me. And that's the only way that the room's used outside of times that,
That's how the art club gets in.
yes, that's how the art club can come on Monday afternoons, because there's a trustee in the art club who takes the responsibility for the building and locking the door and that kind of stuff. So that's what that's the way the policy reads for use of the building. I had a phone call and someone wanted to rent the downstairs, and I was thinking, oh, someone wants to have a baby shower and we can't do that kind of stuff. We just don't have janitorial services and that sort of stuff to be able to use it that way. So that's why our
And it's
policy.
usually some kind of civic club or,
Right. But I know people have used like the Masons space for like showers and
Sure.
that kind of stuff. But we
don't have that kind of space for that kind of stuff.
No. Let's see, the book club met on Zoom Monday, January 13th, and discussed Remarkably Bright Creatures, which is a cool book.
Very good book.
It's a really good book. Friends of the Library had a meeting on January 15th. They discussed setting up book sales and programs. They also voted to have an apron raffle. I don't know if you saw the apron upstairs, but it's a cute apron. The tickets are $1 a piece or 6 for $5. The drawing's going to be on March 17th, and we have everything at the circulation desk if anybody wants to purchase tickets. And so people have been purchasing tickets, which is great. Take and Mate for January was a snowman. We gave out 30 of them. Usually we give out 60, but we only bought 30. We had bought our things ahead, and usually they come packaged by 12. Well, these only came packaged by 6, so we had 30 to give out. Card making on January 25th was well received. Many positive comments. I think 3 people here
Yeah,
were at
we had-
card
yeah.
making.
It was very nice.
It was
Yeah.
very nice.
I sent all my cards out the next day.
Did you?
Did you really?
Oh, I've sent them out.
Yeah, I sent them all out.
And then I bought materials so that my little girls can make cards. And Pippa made one the other night, and she really liked the stamping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I heard they were very organized. They had everything. Yeah.
I did.
Very.
Yeah. And they said they really enjoyed doing it, so.
Good.
So I thought that was great. January is a wonderful time to do that type of program, a craft program, because you get a sign up and it's a Saturday morning usually when we do it, and so people will get out and come. So.
No, that was a great program.
Yeah, it was good, but we've had a lot of them that have been great, the
Yeah.
craft ones.
Yeah.
State reports were submitted on January 25th. The deadline was extended to the 27th, because I think last month I said, well, they were due the 20th, so then I didn't want in 5 years when somebody's reading over the old reports, my gosh, she put it in late. But no, they extended the deadline to the 27th. Majority of our statistics were higher than last year. Our circulation was higher, interlibrary loans higher, number of programs. We're getting back into the swing of having more programming, which is great. It's interesting to note that we circulated almost 1,600 digital audiobooks and 900 ebooks. So that's people not coming in the library that are borrowing over our digital platforms. That's way up, way up from what it used to be. We also handed out 492 take and make projects throughout the year, 250 pairs of eclipse glasses. It was more than that because we had the eclipse, and 160 free COVID tests. So keep in mind that it's not just books you go to the library for. Because we weren't so busy, we did lots of house cleaning this month. The shelves under the bookcases in the reading room, you know, those round shelves? Well, we cleaned all that out. It looks fabulous. There were things from the 1990s there, pamphlets and stuff. It was time for them to go. So we cleaned all that out. There's still encyclopedias under there. They just look pretty, but nobody ever. I mean, because everything is digital now. So one of these days.
Information changes.
Right. Well, some of the old stuff hasn't changed, but we really don't need to have them. So at some point they will probably go too. We also, the fiction's been weeded, the mysteries have been weeded. Large print is in the process of being weeded. Karen, Kathy, and Joy have been working on these projects. I take them out of the system. They take them off the shelves. I take them out of the system.
How do you determine which books get weeded out?
Well, there's a whole process that you follow to weed books out. Part of it is how, in a library our size, you have to keep in mind, and it's very hard to do, but you have to keep in mind, we are not a museum. You know, I'm looking at the books, and there are books that, of course, I bought and I love, and some of them have had to go because no one's taking them out, and we just don't have the kind of room to keep things. So that's one thing you use. If it's been over 5 or 6 years and it has not left the library, it really, you do that in some cases. In other cases, like for nonfiction books, like biographies and stuff, if it's something that's not going to change, you keep it longer. And then the condition of the book, if it's, Paul is our person who fixes all the books, so he sees some books in some really poor condition. So when they're in really poor condition, we see them on the shelf. If it's something we want to retain, we buy a new copy and toss the old one. Otherwise, it goes into the trash or the book sale, because some of them get really beat, especially, that's why I try to buy hardcover. Though when kids' books change so much, the series stuff, that's hard to do, but most of the time I try to buy hardcover because they last longer than paperbacks. And I'm trying to think what else.
And does it all
Definitely, if you have any, and we need to do this too, if you have any health books, like on medical type books, 5 years is the limit. I mean, we aren't even taking them in the book sale now. Beyond that, we're recycling them because everything changes so quickly. So the rule of thumb is basically 5 years for those kind of books.
And does that also depend on how many copies you have too?
Yep. Well, that's the other thing. Sometimes if we get a new book, well, like upstairs right now, there's a new Nora Roberts called the Mirror that just came out. someone donated a copy, but of course I had already bought a copy. So sometimes when that happens, if it's a really popular book, I'll add the second copy, leave it for a while, and then when the rush is over and we don't have a reserve list left for the book, then I take it out.
And sometimes we buy it in large print.
Oh, I do. I buy them large print as well, yep. If they're really popular, or, yep. We do. I guess that's the end of the regular stuff, the updates, the door, have you heard anything?
I have contacted Richard twice since our last meeting, and he hasn't gotten back to me.
He's probably busy.
And Melanie had open heart surgery
Yeah,
a couple
I
of
didn't
weeks
know
ago.
that's-
I
yeah.
didn't know
Like a
that.
week and a half ago.
Uh-huh.
Might be 2 weeks now. But she's doing well and she's recovering.
That's
Well, I'll
good.
have to send a card.
And then I did get in touch with the other company.
Melton?
Yes, and he said they could probably do it for $500. He just said, just let me know if you want. We'll get you on the books right away.
Did you think that that was like overkill or not? The other
Well,
company?
the other company's the same price, basically about $500, but they're charging extra to go up into the attic.
Right,
And I told the company up in Milton that, it's 10 feet to our attic that you would have to get up to at least
Right.
look in there.
yeah,
And he said, yeah, I think we could still do it for the $500.
okay.
So which
This year.
company is
Well,
gonna
because
be doing it for the?
they said in that contract that they wouldn't get on a ladder bigger than 6 foot. And that won't get you to see our,
Attic.
Yeah, they also said that
oh,
they would want
The
help from
staff.
people, the staff. They might need help from staff unless we wanted to pay $95 an hour for another person to come with them.
Right.
And which company was that?
The first one, I don't remember the name of
yeah,
either
I don't
one.
either.
So we found this one in Milton, but I don't know anything about that one either.
So what are the, Ron, do you know the names of the two companies?
I'm trying to find it now.
Okay. I'll just put it, just for the minutes.
I had a pest control guy come to my house and he can't go on a ladder above a certain feet.
Yeah, well, I had Carl look at it because I was really, and he said, I think now a lot of companies are very specific because they're trying to cover their own
It was
bases
very-
for stuff.
Very specific.
Yeah, but yeah, that was very specific. There was a lot
Things we
they
will
wouldn't
not do.
do. Yeah,
We will not do this,
Yeah.
this.
and I think we're gun shy anyway because of what just happened with the sprinkler. I mean, we paid a lot of money for something we didn't need to, I think.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you really don't, we don't know if we
No.
did.
Mm-mm.
So this is for the sprinkler, this is for our inspection, right?
This is the inspection, the
So
yearly
the
inspection.
first company was Fire Tech Sprinkler Corp.
Fire, tech,
Yeah. One word.
fire tech, one word.
And they were out of Colchester.
Are they the one who sent the really long,
Yeah,
Yes. And then
and this one in Milton?
So one sends a really long one and one sends you nothing.
right.
and the other company was
It's a Green Mountain something. Green,
How did we find it?
we looked on. We looked
Green Mountain
on-
Sprinkler.
It wasn't Green Mountain.
Yes.
And what exactly are they doing?
They're inspecting our sprinkler system, but we had a lot of work done on it last year.
Yeah,
They have to inspect it every year though, right?
Yeah.
So this is
You
the
have to s-
annual inspection.
The annual
Okay.
inspection, but we didn't want to have that company that came and charged us a lot of money.
no. No, I get that. I was confused because you had updates door, and I thought we'd moved to talking about the door, and then we're not. We're talking about sprinklers.
Now we're
yeah.
talking about the sprinkler, yes, because I forgot to put that in there.
So do we need a motion to see which one we want to use, or,
Yeah, either one's gonna be
Probably-
at least $500.
yeah?
Whichever one you want to go with.
Well, I'm looking for suggestions here, Ron.
I make a motion that we go ahead and get in touch with the Green Mountain Sprinkler Company to have the inspection done.
And then if they find something that they think is wrong, we can go from there and decide what at least we have some choices.
Right.
Last time, we got locked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll second the motion.
Okay, any other discussion?
So when's it due by?
Hmm?
When does it have to be done by?
Sometime soon.
Sometime
I mean,
soon?
yeah.
Yeah, I can call him tomorrow.
Yeah.
And tell him that yes, we would like him to do the inspection, and hopefully I'll get in touch with him, or either that or else I'll leave a message with them and he'll
Yeah.
get back to
Okay.
me.
They usually, inspections don't take that long. It's
No.
not a,
No, but he's coming from Milton.
yeah,
Right.
right.
Are they the ones who do our oh my gosh, I can't think of what they're.
Fire alarm test?
extinguishers.
That's a Royal
Royal
Group.
Glass still does
Well,
that.
it's Royal Group now, is
Yeah.
what they're called, because they've branched out. So, they are the ones that do, the fire,
Extinguishers
the
Fire-
exit signs and all
Fire
that sort of stuff.
alarm.
That's
Yeah.
a different, and everything's up to date. Though February, our lift people are supposed to come, that we have the service contract with. But they said they would come in February. Maybe I'll call them just to remind them.
Okay.
Because they're a new company to us too, and I don't know if, and then in March, our inspection's doing that. The state of Vermont, they just show up whenever and do it. They walk in one day and say, we're gonna do your lift inspection. So it would be good to have it checked before they come.
So there's a motion on the floor, Judy.
Yes, so all in favor
Aye.
and opposed? Okay,
So they're gonna do, you're gonna try to get that lift inspection in February because the state comes in March.
In
The
March.
lift company in our service contract says we will come in February. They have that's written in their contract, so I assume, and they know our schedule, and they'll just pop in someday, but I think I will call them and just say, it's
Reminder.
February, yeah, just to make sure that they do that.
Do you
'cause-
have us on your schedule?
Right, I wanna, yeah. Because I don't wanna take the chance that it becomes March and, the state shows up and they haven't, but there's no problems with it. The lift is working absolutely fine.
What was the problem with it the last time?
The lift, it
Yeah,
quit.
the lights went
It
out.
stopped in the we'd had it since 2008. And that's the only time it's ever been out of service. And it happened right after a power outage. So they think that the power outage caused, that maybe the batteries were getting low.
Okay.
And then we had the power outage and that knocked the whole thing out. They fixed it in no time at all once we finally,
Once we got them.
yes.
But it took weeks and
long.
weeks.
Well, it was awful. And the elevators, actually, I got the name of these people that are doing it now from the elevator inspector. Because the company that we'd had for all these years that was wonderful, they're just too busy. They can't keep up with the demand. And they're out in New Hampshire and they just don't come over here that often. So.
Yeah, because there's not a whole lot. I mean, they service all of New England.
Right, they do, and they're short of techs. I mean, we'd had the same tech for 20 years. But grant opportunities, nothing's come out on that grant. No surprise, is it? It's a federal,
I don't want to watch the TV.
it's a federal grant,
Yeah, okay.
so we
we-
just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, we
there's
talked
nothing
about
we
that
can do.
today. We had a board training in Manchester at their library, and a lot of 501c3s are scrambling.
Yeah. So it's not available right now, we'll just see what happens. And then I have a little thing here called moving on,
Oh,
and we know what that relates to.
mm-hmm.
I think probably we should think by next month to start to advertise for someone. I pulled off, right now there are 3 libraries that are looking for directors. So I pulled those, the way they're approaching it, and I'll try to write up a job description for what I do
Okay.
and bring it for next time. And I'll probably take some things from, and then you'll have to decide what you wanna, what paper, what you wanna do, how you wanna go about it, what you want people to submit that are interested in the position.
Can we advertise through the Department of Libraries? Do they put out anything? I mean, they put out that newsletter and things like that.
Oh, you mean advertising for,
Well, just letting that, yeah, just the announcement that, the different libraries that are looking for.
well, that's where I got that off
That's
my
okay,
email.
yeah.
So, yeah, once we formulate a plan, we could put it on their email that the
I
Fairhaven.
mean, because that's where the librarians will
Search
search.
for potential jobs.
Yeah. 2 of the libraries are big libraries, one is a small library. So 2 are looking for full-time, 40-hour-a-week people, and the other one is looking for 15 to 20 hours a week, I think.
Is that library close?
No, is it close to us? Pittsfield,
Pittsfield?
yeah, so it's not that far, but I don't know, think this is a job you really want to commute to.
Is this a 40-hour-a-week job here?
Is it a 40-hour-a-week job, or is the
Or-
pay for 40 hours? I get paid for 28 hours a week. I don't work 28 hours a week in the library. Always libraries are set up so you have some time to do other things. So my in-library time, I think, is 46 hours within the 2 weeks. And then I have 10 hours, 5 hours a week to do other stuff, which is like,
When
Like
there's
writing these
nobody
reports.
around.
right, like I come in every Monday and I do interlibrary loans on Monday and there's no one here. I mean, it's when the library's closed. And then like ordering books and that kind of stuff, reading book reviews, all that. So most libraries give you what they call administrative time, and mine is 10 hours out of the, so 5 hours a week is what I have, which is probably pretty average for that. It is scary to look at what's required in these libraries, and the thing with a small library like us, I remember my brother had a girlfriend once who worked up in, which one was it? Essex, in the Essex Library. And so she'd come down and we'd talk library when she'd be at our house. I'd say, well, when you're doing interlibrary loans, and she'd go, I don't do interlibrary loans. And I said, well, when you're ordering books, I don't order books. The bigger libraries have different people to do all different things. Little libraries, you have to do all of
Everything.
it. All of it.
I was at Manchester today, that library.
That
Must
is a
have-
beautiful.
First of all, you have to visit, it's only 10 years old.
Right.
Must have been at least 5 librarians there, 5 full-time faculty there.
Wow.
I mean, 5 full-time librarians there. Because they have a children's librarian and the executive director and 2 people working the desk. And
Well, we have volunteers, and
Yeah.
that's what saves us.
Yeah.
But
We
you have
couldn't run without
You have to
volunteers.
train, you have to take the time to train the volunteers. And, yeah, so we wouldn't, the volunteers are and what happens is when no volunteers can be here because they get sick and stuff and they're not here, then that's when I or Mary Kay have to sit at the desk. And when we do that, then other stuff has to, so you just do the best you can do.
Well, you must have, to write that state report, you must have used your 5-hour time for that.
And then some.
And then
Oh, yeah.
Probably used your other time, those other 5 hours that you work that you don't get
I
paid
used a
for.
lot of time to write the state reports, yep. It was a lot of time. And it's a lot of time otherwise, because it's not, in this library, it doesn't, if I'm here for a program at night, or I'm not getting paid for that. I don't know it's going forward.
How that's
That
gonna
is
work.
not best practice to do that stuff, but I have always loved being I love it. And I feel that it's a service to the community, but, as far as professionally for libraries, it is not the way things should be done,
Well,
really.
knowing the caliber of work you do
Yeah.
and the salary you get, are we gonna have trouble replacing you, do you think?
I would say probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, and he said, "You working on that yet?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna be. I have a board meeting." And he said, "It will take them 6 months probably to find somebody, but maybe somebody in town wants to do it." But as
That would
I
be
also
nice.
said, one of my cousins, Heinsberg, they had a librarian who was there 30 years. She got done, and the year after that, they had 4 librarians within the year.
wow.
It's just, yeah,
It's a lot of work.
it's a lot
Well-
of work, and you're working nights
Yeah.
and weekends. I mean, when I first started, I worked every single Saturday for the first probably 10 years I was here. And then my kids got old enough to be in sports. They got toward high school and were really in sports things. And that were on Saturday, like track meets and stuff. And I didn't think it was fair that I never got to, and I was thinking, this is not working. So then we hired an assistant who works 10 hours a week, 20 hours in 2 weeks, to do children's stuff and share the Saturdays. So I went to every other Saturday then. But, you're tied up at nighttime, you're tied up on Saturday in a library this small. So it might be a challenge, but we'll see. Hopefully it'll work out.
Do you think that it wouldn't work to share a librarian with another library, probably?
I don't think so.
Because you're wanted for the same hours
Right.
in
Exactly.
both
I mean,
libraries.
most libraries are open, 2 or 3 or 4 hours. We're open 4 on Saturday.
Right.
Because you want to be open when people can
Come.
Come.
And then same thing, evening kind of stuff. I have to say, we changed our hours after what? I don't know how many hundreds of years. It's been 4 to 8 on Wednesday night it was. But then
3 to
we
7.
changed it to 3 to 7 after COVID. And thinking, okay, we're never busy. We are never busy between 7 and 8. If one person or 2 people come in, so now we're never busy between 6 and 7. It's the same thing. We changed the hours to 3 to 7, and 6 to 7, there's nobody.
And you're busy 3 to 4 though,
Oh, yeah,
because, school gets out.
right. We're
So,
busy,
which is
we're
nice.
busy 3 to probably 5, and then it starts to tail off. And then 6 to 7, probably if 1 or 2 people come in. And that's the way it used to be when it was 7 to 8, when we were open till 8. It's that last hour, no matter when it is.
They just, and I think it really does it has impacted with Dollar General.
Well,
Because people see
there's-
that empty parking lot.
All the time.
There's something else too. We operate with one person in the building.
Yeah, it can be scary when there's.
Yeah, when, I feel a lot more comfortable when Dollar General's open, personally. You know, we have volunteers that are here, but sometimes they can't be here at nighttime or, the only time it has ever bothered me is nighttime. But see, Saturdays, I'm here by myself on Saturday. Mary Kay's here by herself the opposite Saturday. Friday afternoons a lot, we're here alone.
Have we heard anything about Dollar General, except the rumors that bound?
There's many, many rumors, but
But nothing happened.
nothing, no. But they come and work in there, because sometimes they're there working, but they don't let any customers in. But vendors have been there, because one of the vendors came in here last Friday to wait for the manager to get here, so to
So they
let her
must
in.
they must be planning to continue to be open.
I think so, and I think they've applied to the town for their liquor and their tobacco license.
Did they
So-
have that before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
But you have to update it.
yeah, you have to, every year you have to get a new one, and they got it. They
Okay.
applied for it. So they must be intending, I think, to, but boy, there are a lot of rumors.
They had an issue with heating last year too.
Oh, I think they've had,
Well,
yeah.
it's an old building. I mean, the building,
I worked in that building when I was 16, when it was Grand Union.
and it wasn't, it wasn't that great of a building to
No.
start with.
Believe me, it wasn't.
No.
And it doesn't have a cellar under it, it has a flat roof. You know, so all the furnace is right in the back of the building. Yeah, I don't know how they're keeping the pipes from freezing and that sort of stuff.
Getting back to our advertisement and trying to find a librarian, when do you want to be out? When do you want to be done?
I don't have any, I mean, I certainly am willing, when we get somebody, to help them as much as they want, or to get out of their way as much as they want. You know, there's a lot of things to show them,
Right.
but, you know, whenever.
Well, I mean, that, we want to make sure that we,
That I'm still on my feet when I go out the door?
yes. Well, we don't want to abuse
Yes.
that privilege because you made it known there are
Yeah.
reasons that you're
Yeah.
leaving.
I would stay forever if I could.
I know.
I really would. But you can't. I mean, you can't do that. It's time.
It's true.
It's
All right.
time.
So next month, maybe, will you bring
I'll
that?
bring that stuff next month,
Okay.
and then we can think about starting to advertise, because maybe, you know, if we advertise close to when school gets out, or there might be somebody that would wanna,
Sure, at the colleges.
yeah, do that.
Right.
Though they're not gonna wanna,
Well, they can't pay the college debt on what we pay.
right. But I mean, if, it was wonderful for me,
Yeah.
you know, because, but again, I didn't have to use the insurance for the, you know, so right now, there's no insurance with the position. I didn't accept the town insurance because I had other opportunities that I could, and I was able to do something fun like this, rather than get, you know, a job I didn't like.
And that would be available for the next librarian, the town.
That would,
Insurance.
they would have to talk about that. That's something that you'd have to go to the town and talk about. I'm sure
The select board.
it'll be an interesting conversation, because for 27 years, they haven't. But before me,
They did.
they did.
And did they pay for it? Or did the library have to pay for it?
I don't know how that worked.
We'll
I
find
think,
out from Jen.
I'll tell you, I could ask my husband,
Yeah.
because he was on the board back. I think the library actually paid
I
the
would assume,
premiums, yeah.
I would assume that the library had to pay the premiums.
Yeah, I think they did.
And I would assume that we're going to have to pay insurance.
And when I started and didn't accept insurance, saying, well, I don't really need it, so why do that to the library? There was someone on the board that said, well, we should do something for her. So I get $1,200 extra. So it was $100 a month. Can you imagine now thinking of how much, instead of taking the insurance?
Knowing what I pay for insurance
Now,
now?
knowing what
Yeah.
anybody is paying for insurance, and it has stayed that, it's
never gone up.
changed. Caught up. I never even told anybody that it was just there. But yes, that was very nice, they did that. At that time, it was just,
Well,
If it would be feasible to have the librarian only on the town
oh yeah,
payroll,
on the town.
as a town employee.
That
It's
kind of,
tricky.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very tricky
that mean
because,
that we would lose
we
everything
are-
here?
yeah, I don't want to go hybrid.
no,
I mean, we still control the budget and spending.
I think we have to pay the insurance.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because the way it's set up, the town the town owns the building. So the town pays, like, the insurance on the building, and, we pay for everything else, all the,
The inside.
right,
We
the
hear-
The
inside.
heat and the
oil, the
lights
heat.
and,
Lights, oil, heat,
Yeah, we own the books.
The maintenance on the roof.
the maintenance on the, right, which I forgot to write in.
Yes,
Well, I
he
didn't know
just- he
until I
was-
got here
he was here
today
Monday.
that John Laramie was here.
I left you a
and-
nice note.
Yes, I saw it, and I put it on the calendar, but it was too late to make
Yeah.
but John Laramie was here to, shovel off the roof, Monday. And he comes when ice dams build up. So yes, the library itself is responsible, and that's all in our budget. Plus, we have to pay for a janitor that comes, but only once a week. It's not like every time we have an event in here, we have janitorial services coming in. We kind of take care of the in-between stuff. So it gets cleaned once a week. We have a bookkeeper who does all our payroll stuff and our,
writing the checks.
writing all the checks for all our bills and that sort of thing. Then we have, a Monday night person that's just a clerk. And then we have, Mary Kay, who's children's librarian for 10 hours a week, and me, who's here for 28 hours a week. And that's how but it all comes out of the library budget. But I've been able to make it work. It works because I know all the tricks to finding books
Free.
reasonably, really reasonably priced, which I'll pass those ideas on to someone new who comes, but you can't do that in 5 minutes. I mean, it takes time. But I've enjoyed it, all of it.
And it depends, if someone comes who hasn't been a librarian before and they're new to it, versus somebody that's been a librarian that knows some of those tricks.
Right.
And they do have to be certified, correct?
In the state of Vermont, you don't need your master's in library science. I have a master's, but my master's is not library science, it's special ed. But I got the certifications through the state, and I would say that the best thing for the board to do is expect that the person within 3 years or 5 years gets that certification, because you
Yeah, you need that.
you need it in order to do it. And the state is very good about providing classes. Now they're online. I went to Montpelier for all my classes. But Lucille Hyde, whose picture's on the wall behind us, would come in, like when Pat got her certification, Lucille would come in and work for free while she went and got, the library has so many people that have been friends for years, that just help the library.
Well, I was thinking John Laramie, keeping the roof going.
Yeah.
He's not gonna do that forever.
Right.
No.
Nope, we'll have to find someone else. And of course, when we find new people, it becomes more money. Like,
Right.
we went from Dan Gray, who had done all our electrical stuff, and then he also did the fire, but then he dropped his certification in doing the fire thing, because he said, I'm only doing it for two of you in town, so who could blame him?
Right.
But the price went from like $200 to between 5 and 6.
All right. I have one too. We have town meeting coming up?
Yeah, it's March,
Yes,
Fourth.
March, yeah.
right?
Yeah, do we have somebody who wants to come to town meeting and answer any questions?
Now, March, and we have a meeting the day after,
Yes,
Right.
we have a board meeting the day
so
after.
if people, they have
But
to
what
get.
she's looking for is somebody to
Right, but I'm
Come
just
to
thinking-
to the informational meeting on the budget the night before town meeting.
So
Monday, it's the
it's
3rd.
March 4th at the grade
It's-
school.
No, it would be the 3rd, right?
Yeah, it's Monday night, March 3rd, 7 o'clock at the grade school.
Monday, March 3rd,
7 o'clock,
7 o'clock.
yeah. I don't think the town report's out yet.
Hmm.
And it's at the graded school, and what
Is that
what
the-
do you,
is it the
I
Learning
can do
Center?
that, I can go
Okay.
do that, but
But that's, I mean, in terms of, we might want to update folks to let them know that we're working on the Mason, or at least,
Trying to.
we're trying to do these things, and we're really hoping to get grant funding so that we don't have to bring that
Right,
amount
the
to the,
town.
to the
Yeah.
town, but, the
Do you-
grant opportunities are,
Just
are in
Right,
flux.
yeah.
flux right now.
Right, everything's in flux.
and do I want to say how much the masonry is going to cost?
Well, I mean, we have one bid, and we can always say that
I can just say it's expensive.
it's expensive. It's not something that we have in our budget.
Right.
But that, I mean, I think it's the consensus of the board, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but we really want to try and get some grant money. I mean, it is on the National Historic Register, which means that we have to have someone approved by the state of Vermont to do the work, for the historic preservation, but I had
So-
hoped that the historic preservation was offering more than $10,000 grants.
Right.
Because that certainly, I mean, that's why we didn't apply for the grant, because even if we've gotten the $10,000, what are we going to do for the other $85,000 or $100,000?
Right.
And on here, you've got 138 hours of volunteer hours. It's usually more than that, isn't it?
It's usually less than that. Well, it's been averaging 125 a month.
I think that's important for them to know that, yes, we have all these librarians, but we also have all these volunteers, or else it would be costing us a lot more. Yeah. Is there anything else?
Well, we might say we're going to be looking for a new librarian. But, it's
And they
nice
better-
when we bring up the library, the morning for the library, it's nice if somebody's there to raise their hand and,
Right, if somebody
Right,
has a question or, and
and
anybody
even to
can-
bring it up. I
Yeah.
mean, just put it in the minds of people so that we're being transparent, what's
Right.
going on here at the
Well,
library.
and it's hard, because sometimes people, I've said this so many times before, but they look at the salary line
think
and they
it's
think
one
it's,
person.
they
One
think
person.
it's me. They think it's my
So
salary.
you've
and
got
There's
a
5 people.
you've got a librarian
A
at 20
librarian, an
28 hours, you've got a child librarian
10
at 10
hours.
hours, and you've got an assistant at 10 hours.
We
At
got a
4
yeah.
hours.
Yeah, and we've
4
got a
hours.
bookkeeper.
And then we've got a bookkeeper at
And
5
custodian.
hours, and we have a
Custodian.
a custodian at 5 hours. And that all comes out of that salary line.
I think it's in the town report too,
Yeah.
Yeah,
when people read it.
Yeah.
most do, at least
Well,
most people
I
that
was
come.
surprised last year that people came and said something to me. My goodness, half your budget is salary. And I'm
But that's
thinking,
true, but that's true in all organizations.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, they just thought it was a lot, and I
And
said,
then-
well,
And then you've got digital,
mm-hmm,
you've got movies, you've got COVID tests, and there was something else you were giving away.
Make
oh,
and
the
take.
take and makes every month. What really helps us is Friends of the Library. Like, we don't, in our budget, we do not pay for any of the programming. I have a $500 programming budget, and all I'm doing with that is buying the passes, like the pass to Vins and the pass, that's what I'm doing with that $500.
That's another thing that would be important to say, that there are passes available to local
Right.
landmarks.
Right.
Like the state parks and
Vins
Shelburne
and,
Museum and Vins.
Shelburne,
Shelburne Museum,
where do we go? We went to, what's the other one?
Hildene.
Leahy Center.
Hildene.
Yeah,
Hildene,
Hildene and
Echo.
Leahy. Yeah.
And so I'm paying for that out of that $500, but like any programs, like the program that you girls just attended, that was paid for by the Friends of the Library.
Yeah,
They really help
yeah.
with
do.
all the programming, and so buy an apron ticket.
Yeah. Support the friends.
Okay.
Take a
So,
friend.
so we're gonna get more serious about the librarian next month.
Next month.
Okay.
I'll move
Okay.
you adjourn.
Thank you.
I'll second it.